Hello, and welcome to my channel. Relax, and get ready to listen to today's story.
Thomas Hawthorne was a man consumed by the vastness of the universe. Night after night, he would find solace in his small observatory, perched atop a hill overlooking the sleepy town of Larkspur. There, he would lose himself in the dance of the stars, tracing their celestial paths with his telescope. The observatory was a small wooden structure, weathered by years of exposure to the elements. Inside, it was filled with books and charts, each one meticulously organized. The walls were adorned with maps of the night sky, their intricate patterns serving as a constant reminder of the universe's infinite complexity. But it was not just the stars that fascinated Thomas, it was the moonlight that held a special allure for him. He had heard whispers of its magical properties, tales of wishes granted and dreams fulfilled. And so, every night, he would gaze up at the moon, wondering if there was truth to these legends. One evening, as Thomas stood on his observatory balcony, his eyes fixed on the glowing orb above, he couldn't help but share his dreams with the night sky. "Oh, how I long to explore the universe," he murmured, his voice barely audible over the rustling leaves. "To unravel its mysteries and witness its wonders firsthand." As if in response, a gentle breeze caressed his face, carrying with it the faint scent of jasmine. Thomas closed his eyes, allowing himself to be carried away by his imagination. He pictured himself floating among the stars, weightless and free, his body bathed in the ethereal glow of distant galaxies. Word of Thomas's fascination with the moonlight soon spread throughout the town of Larkspur. Curious townspeople began to approach him, sharing their own tales of the moonlight's magic. They spoke of wishes granted and desires fulfilled, each story more enchanting than the last. One evening, as Thomas sat in the local tavern, nursing a glass of whiskey, he found himself surrounded by eager listeners. The air was thick with anticipation as an old woman with silver hair stepped forward. "Ah, young Thomas," she said, her voice tinged with a hint of mystery. "You seek the secrets of the moonlight, do you not?" Thomas nodded, his eyes wide with anticipation. "I do," he replied, his voice barely above a whisper. "Tell me, what do you know of its power?" The old woman smiled knowingly. "Legend has it that the moonlight possesses the ability to grant wishes," she said, her voice carrying a weight of ancient wisdom. "But one must be pure of heart and unwavering in their belief for the moon's magic to work." Thomas leaned forward, his eyes locked with the old woman's. "And have you seen this magic firsthand?" he asked, his voice filled with hope. The old woman's gaze grew distant as she recalled a long-forgotten memory. "Many years ago," she began, her voice barely audible, I made a wish under the moonlight. And to my astonishment, it came true. Please support my channel by liking and subscribing. Eager to witness the moonlight's enchantment for himself, Thomas ventured to the beach one moonlit night. The sand glowed silver beneath his feet, casting an ethereal glow that seemed to dance with the waves. He walked along the shore, his eyes fixed on the moon above. Its light shimmered on the water's surface, creating a pathway of liquid silver that led him further into the night. As Thomas reached the edge of the water, he knelt down and extended his hand, feeling the coolness of the sea against his skin. He closed his eyes and let the sound of crashing waves wash over him, filling his senses with a profound sense of peace. In that moment, Thomas felt a connection to something greater than himself. He understood why people believed in the moonlight's magic. It was not just a source of light, it was a gateway to another realm, where dreams and desires could become reality. Lost in his thoughts, Thomas was startled by a voice behind him. "Beautiful, isn't it?" it said, its tone filled with a quiet reverence. Thomas turned around to see an old fisherman, weathered and wise, standing a few feet away. His eyes sparkled with a hidden knowledge, and his face bore the lines of a life lived by the sea. "Yes, it is," Thomas replied, his voice filled with wonder. "I've always been captivated by the moonlight." The fisherman nodded, a wistful smile playing on his lips. "Ah, the moonlight," he said, his voice tinged with nostalgia. "It holds the power to grant wishes, you know." Thomas's eyes widened with anticipation. "Have you witnessed this power yourself?" he asked, his voice barely containing his excitement. The fisherman's gaze drifted to the horizon, as if lost in a distant memory. "Many years ago," he began, his voice heavy with emotion, "I made a wish under the moonlight. And to my astonishment, it came true." Determined to uncover the secrets of the moonlight, Thomas set out to explore the lush forests surrounding Larkspur. He believed that these ancient woods held the key to understanding its power. As he ventured deeper into the forest, the trees grew taller and denser, casting long shadows that seemed to dance in the moonlight. The air was thick with the scent of moss and earth, and the sound of rustling leaves filled his ears. Suddenly, Thomas stumbled upon a hidden grove bathed in the soft glow of the moon. The trees formed a natural canopy overhead, allowing only slivers of moonlight to filter through. It was a sight of breathtaking beauty, as if the forest itself had been touched by magic. Thomas stood in awe, his eyes tracing the patterns of light on the forest floor. He felt a sense of peace wash over him, as if he had stumbled upon a sacred place. It was in this moment that he knew he was on the right path, that the moonlight held secrets waiting to be discovered. As Thomas continued his journey, he encountered various townspeople who shared their own wishes and desires. They believed that the moonlight could make their dreams come true, and they poured out their hearts to him, hoping that he could help them find the answers they sought. He listened intently as a young woman spoke of her wish for true love, her voice filled with longing and vulnerability. He sympathized with an elderly man who yearned for good health, his eyes clouded with the weight of years gone by. Each person's wish reflected their deepest longings and fears, their hopes and insecurities laid bare beneath the moonlit sky. And as Thomas listened, he realized that the moonlight held not just the power to grant wishes, but also the power to heal hearts and mend broken spirits. Not everyone in Larkspur believed in the moonlight's magic. There were skeptics who dismissed it as mere superstition, scoffing at those who clung to their beliefs. Thomas himself wrestled with doubts. Was it possible that the moonlight's power was nothing more than a figment of imagination? Could it be that people were simply projecting their own desires onto a natural phenomenon? But deep down, Thomas couldn't let go of his belief in something greater. He had witnessed the moonlight's beauty and felt its pull in his soul. And so, he resolved to continue his quest, to uncover the truth behind the moonlight's enchantment, no matter the skepticism that surrounded him. Night after night, Thomas spent countless hours observing the stars, searching for a connection between the cosmos and the moonlight. He pored over ancient texts and studied the works of astronomers who had come before him, hoping to find a clue that would unlock the moon's secrets. And then, one fateful night, as he gazed through his telescope, Thomas made a groundbreaking discovery. He noticed a pattern in the alignment of the stars, a celestial dance that seemed to mirror the path of the moonlight on Earth. Excitement coursed through his veins as he realized that the moonlight was not just a reflection of the sun's light, it was a conduit, a bridge between the heavens and the earth. It carried with it the energy of distant stars, infusing the world below with its mystical power. Eager to witness the moonlight's magic firsthand, Thomas attended a moonlit ritual performed by a group of townspeople who gathered in a clearing deep within the forest. They believed that by making their wishes under the moonlight together, their collective belief would amplify its power. As Thomas stood among them, he felt a sense of unity and purpose. The air was charged with anticipation as each person stepped forward, their voices filled with hope and longing. They spoke their wishes aloud, their words carried away by the night breeze. And then, as if in response, a hush fell over the clearing. The moonlight seemed to grow brighter, its glow intensifying with each wish spoken. It was as if the universe itself was listening, waiting to grant their desires. As Thomas watched his fellow townspeople make their wishes, he contemplated his own desire. What did he truly long for? What would he ask of the moonlight if given the chance? His mind raced with possibilities, his heart torn between practicality and the wild dreams of his youth. But in the end, he knew what he truly desired. It was not fame or fortune, it was something deeper, something that touched the very core of his being. And so, as he stepped forward, his voice steady and filled with conviction, he made his wish under the moonlight. He asked for knowledge, for wisdom to understand the mysteries of the universe. It was a wish born out of a lifelong passion, a thirst for understanding that could never be quenched. As Thomas uttered his wish, he felt a surge of energy course through his veins. It was as if the moonlight had heard his plea, had recognized the longing in his soul. He closed his eyes and let himself be enveloped by its embrace, surrendering to its power. In that moment, Thomas felt a deep connection to the universe. He understood that the moonlight was not just a source of magic, it was a reminder of our place in the cosmos, a symbol of our eternal quest for knowledge and understanding. And as he stood there, bathed in the moon's ethereal glow, Thomas knew that his journey was far from over. He had glimpsed the moonlight's secrets, but there was still so much left to discover, and he was determined to uncover them all. The moonlight had served as a catalyst, a spark that ignited his curiosity and fueled his passion. It had brought him together with fellow dreamers and skeptics alike, creating a sense of community and shared purpose. But most importantly, the moonlight had taught Thomas the value of embracing the unknown. It had shown him that by stepping into the realm of uncertainty, by daring to believe in something greater than himself, he could uncover extraordinary discoveries, both within himself and in the world around him. And so, as Thomas stood on his observatory balcony one final time, his eyes fixed on the moon above, he whispered a silent thank you to the universe. He knew that his journey was just beginning, that there were countless mysteries waiting to be unraveled. And he was ready to chase them, to explore the universe with an unwavering spirit and an open heart.